So, you know 7th chords, huh? How about 9th chords, 13th chords, flat 9, sharp 9, stuff like that. Bit of a mystery, right? But it's very simple. Check it out. So, basic triad consists of a root, 3rd, and 5th. That's the first note of a scale. Let's say we're talking in the key of C. So, the first note of the scale would be C, major scale. Second note, D. Third note is E. So we've got a root, 3rd, and then the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is G. So C, E, and G are your C major triad. And anywhere those notes are, you've got a C major triad. Whether it's here, G, C, E, E, G, C, C, E, G, E, G, C, G, C, E. Anywhere you have those 3 notes. Just like in your big C chord down here. So, when we add another note, we've been going up the scale skipping a note. So, we got root, skip the 2nd, go to the 3rd, skip the 4th, go to the 5th, skip the 6th, go to the 7th. What if we skip the 8th and go to the 9th? That's a D. That's the same as the 2nd note in the scale, right? So 2, 1, 2 is D, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is also D. So that's the 9th of the chord. So if we add a D to a C7 chord, a C major 7, we have C major 9. So in this voicing, I'm omitting the 5th, the G, and that happens a lot. Because the 5th doesn't really do anything for us. It doesn't tell us anything about the chord unless it's altered. If it's a flat 5th or a sharp 5th. Okay, so that's a major 9 chord. We've got root, 3rd, 7th, and 9th. Right? Okay, so if we keep going up in that fashion, we're also going to have an 11th. In this case, I'm using the sharp 11 because it sounds better on the major 7 chord than a natural 11. That's going to sound weird because it clashes with the 3rd. Okay, so if we're going up the scale, root, 3rd, so root is 1. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, sharp 11, because I'm skipping 10, because we already have that note. The 10 would be E. We've already got an E. And then we've got the 11, sharp 11, F sharp. G would be 12, we've already got a G, right? And then the 13 would be A. So if we want to have a major 13 chord, we can have our root, this time I'll do 7th and then 3rd, and I'll add the 13 on top, right? So knowing where your essential notes are, the essential notes are the root, 3rd, and 7th. All right? Knowing where your essential notes are, and then knowing where all the extensions are that you can use. So let's take our C major 7 again. I've got my 9 I can grab here. I've got my sharp 11 here. I can also grab the 5th if I want to. I can grab the 13 down here, which would make it a 6 chord because that takes out the 7th. That's what we call a 6-9 chord because it's got the 6 instead of the 7th, and it's also got the 9th. Root, 3rd, 6, 9. 6-9 chord. That A is also up here on the 1st string, so we can have our major 13 chord. Make sense? Okay. Gets more interesting when we get to dominant chords because those we can have a little more fun with. So the dominant 7 is going to be the root, third, fifth again, but this time our seventh is going to be flattened. So instead of a B, it's going to be a B flat. So root, third, fifth, flat, 7. So that's a C7. These are the essential tones, root, third, and 7th. Now we can grab that same 9, make a 9th chord. Now that 9 can be altered too, so sometimes you'll see like C7 sharp 9, C7 flat 9, and you're like, oh my god, what do I do here? So you got your 9 chord here. If you raise it up a fret, it becomes a sharp 9. If you lower it by a fret, it becomes a flat 9. I like to flatten out this finger to grab it, but there's other ways of doing it too. You could use all 4 fingers that way. So that's a flat 9. And the same goes with the 11th. So if we have our 11th, usually it works like a sus chord. So this would be a C9 sus 4. So C9 sus 4. I've got root, 7th, 9th, and the sus 4, which is the F. Now, that could also be called an 11, but we don't have a third, so I'm calling it a sus 4. But remember, the 4 corresponds with the 11, the 2 corresponds with the 9, and the 6 corresponds with the 13. So if we want a sharp 11 now, remember where that sharp 11 was, the F sharp, and we have our B flat as the flat 7, we now have our C7 sharp 11. Make sense? All right, and we've also got our 9 in there too, so C9 sharp 11. We can do the same thing with the 13. If we have our, this time I have a 9 and a 13. We can flatten the 13, right? That's a flat 13. Now if we sharp the 13, that's a B flat, that's the 7th. So we already have that. Well, technically a sharp 13 would be an A sharp, but we've already got a B flat, that's the same note, same pitch. So we don't have a sharp 13. So if you hear somebody telling you to play a something 7 sharp 13, they don't know what they're talking about, all right? Okay, so we've got our 13, we've got our 9, we've got our sharp 11, and we've got our sus 4. Okay, great. Now how about minor chords? So for a minor 7, you probably know already, you need the flat 7 again, just like in the dominant 7. But this time we're going to have a flat third as well. So E flat instead of E. And then again we can have our 9. Most of the time you don't see a flat 9 on a minor 7 chord, because that kind of makes it into a different chord almost. But you will see a 9, you'll see an 11, right? Usually not a sharp 11, because that would be a minor 7 flat 5. Because the sharp 11, if we call this F sharp a G flat, remember G is the 5th of C, C, D, E, F, G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we make that a flat 5, we would have C minor 7 flat 5. We also call that half diminished. Okay, so that's a way to find all of the chord extensions, the 9ths, 13ths, sharp 11s, all that stuff. Now let's put them to use. So I played some chords earlier. I honestly don't remember exactly what I played, but let's check out. I think I started with this one. This is a nice E minor 9 chord. So what do I have here? I've got E, the root, 5th, F sharp is the 9th, the B is the 5th, F sharp is the 9th, and then I've got my open G, which is the 3rd, and then I've got my minor 7th, which is D, and then open E, and then I think I went to some sort of A7 chord, maybe something like this. So I'm playing the open A, a G, which is the 7th, B is the 9th, the C sharp is the 3rd, and the F sharp is the 13th. So that's like a A13 chord, and a pretty Pretty nice, easy voicing. Not too hard to play. And then I may have played something like this for the D chord. Or maybe. So this one is a D6-9 chord. Root, third, 6, 9, and then the fifth is also there. And then I think I did maybe a 2-5 back to the E minor. Notice this is kind of the same shape, right? If I go up here, it's a regular old E minor 7 that you're probably familiar with. You can do that same kind of shape based on the fifth, which is B flat, and you end up with this nice E minor 7. Okay, so what's that? That's a B7 sharp 5 or flat 13. That goes nicely into this E minor 9. That's a A7 flat 13 or sharp 5. Goes nicely into the D major 9 or 6-9. Here's a D major 9, B6 9. Here's a B7 with a flat 9. Goes nicely back into that E minor 7, right? So let's look at that again. So I'm kind of following this top voice. Okay, I think that's pretty good for now.